Right then, Jay, one more prediction show to do. It's the big one this weekend, the rematch of what transpired last September, not only in the ring at MSG, but outside Sandy Ryan's hotel as well. Never forget one of the most controversial nights of boxing in many, many years. The images afterwards and everything. It was a weird night, but Mikaela Mayer got the job done. She won the WBO Championship from Sandy Ryan. In New York. They're running it back at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas this time around. Very nice. Should be a decent card. Brian Norman defending a WBO Men's Welterweight Championship on the same card on the co-main event. But look, Maya got the job done last time around. Me and you watched it live, I can remember, and we thought, I think we're leaning like a draw was in and around where we're looking. It was very close, wasn't it? Yeah. I remember it. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Sandy Ryan was unlucky a couple of times that night. I mean, a random stranger threw paint on her just by chance outside a hotel to the biggest fight of her life. Nothing to do with Team Mayer, allegedly, I may add. Evening, Pat. Hope you're well there, brother. But yeah, look, edged it to Ryan. I've watched it since. I've given it Ryan, I've given it draw, and I've given it Mayer. I ain't watching it a fourth time because that just shows you how close it was. But I've tried watching it objectively and subjectively, scoring for different things each time, and each time I've come up with a different result. But both results, have been by the same score. So I've had it 1-1-5, 1-1-3 Ryan. I've had it 1-1-5, 1-1-3 Mayer. Not 1-1-5, 1-1-3, but whatever works out. 8 rounds to 2, and then a draw. Whatever that equates to in the scoring system. Is it something like, I don't know, my maths is not the best, but
it's
by 2 rounds either
96,
way.
94.
Something like that. I've had it by 2 rounds either way in a draw. It's one of them fights. They're evenly matched. I believe that if that fight had been over here, Ryan had got it. The fight was over there, Mayer got it. It's just one of them things. So they had to do it again. This is what you're supposed to do. A fight's close. There's any arguments, go straight back in and do it again. This is the Lauren Price sweepstakes, I believe. I think the winner is possibly looking at fighting Lauren Price for undisputed. If I'm honest, I think Price beats them both now based on this. I always thought Ryan was the best of the bunch, but what I've seen from Lauren Price beating up my future wife, and how easy she seemed to handle Tasha, has made me look at her with less vitriol and looking at her more with less bias now, and I'm looking at her just based on her skill set, and she's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, back to the girls at hand. I think that Sandy Ryan boxed within herself. I don't care what anyone says. That pain
had to have an effect.
It has to. For a split second, she could have thought that was acid, boiling water. So for a split second, her adrenaline's up. Then she has the dump, and she's got to go to the well again to get back up to have the fight of her life. She looked flat, and that came across in her performance for me. Whereas Mayer looked as Mayer always looks, classy, flash, fast combinations, fast hands, fast feet, amateur style. Sandy Ryan can bang. We didn't really see that. She was chasing Mayer at times in that fight. She never ever did
Mayer's
that.
Fight, didn't she, in New York?
I'm expecting a completely different fight. I think she'll take emotion out of it. I think she'll separate herself, and I think she will be 100% focused. And I expect to see a lot better Sandy Ryan in the second fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to fight week. I really am. Just got a few comments from Pat. For me, Sandy will get the job done. Been locked in again, split or late KO, he says. Mayer wanted Baumgardner. That would have been a rematch too. But she outbid herself. Yeah, I think fight week's going to be really interesting, mate. I'm going to be watching the presser and the weigh-in and all that jazz because, look, regardless of who did what last time out, it's created a rivalry and it's created interest in this rematch. We're going to be watching it. We don't get up, every single week anymore. For example, we didn't do it for Fundora last week, but we're interested in this. So that kind of goes to tell, yes, it wasn't a great thing that happened, obviously, with the paint, but it's created a narrative, it's created a rivalry, it's created interest. Yeah. So, I'm going to kick it off, and then you can let me know how you see it. I picked Sandy to win the first fight. I'm picking the champ to retain this time, picking Mikaela Mayer to beat her this time. I'm picking her to go 2-0 over Sandy. I know, and I get, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it to an extent about, and Pat said the same thing about, maybe she will fight with less emotion this time around. I also think there's a case to be made that maybe that emotion's still there, and she's going to want to try and take Mikaela Mayer's head off in the rematch. And if she does, then she's going to lose, because I think that's kind of what happened in New York. And clearly, we thought she had a case for the result in New York. She didn't get it on the card. So if she does that again, she's not going to get it on the card. She needs to do something different. I think Mikaela Mayer might eke it out. Honestly do. I hope I'm wrong, though. Obviously, I want Sandy to get the job done. But as always, sometimes we get accused of Brit bias, but I can't get accused of Brit bias if I'm picking Mikaela Mayer to win. And I do think she wins on Saturday night. I think it'll be very, very close again. Not a carbon copy of New York, but look, Mikaela Mayer's good, man. She's a good fighter. So is Sandy, obviously. And like you say, I think the winner has to fight Lauren Price for the undisputed. I think that's a tough test either way. But obviously, if Sandy can do it, it's a great fight over here. So yeah, pulling for Sandy, but yeah, unfortunately, I think Mikaela Mayer wins it.
Okay, and I totally get that. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to show my Brit bias. And but it's not. I'm just picking who I feel will win. Of course. I think Sandy Ryan's got more to give. As I say, I believe she was mentally affected, mentally drained, and I think that physically drained her as well. I think we saw a Sandy Ryan that was a bit slower, a bit more cumbersome than normal, planting her feet a lot more, trying to stop Mayer to make a statement. I believe this time she'll be a lot more reserved. Her brother Dave is with her all the time now, whereas previously, I think he dipped in and out of camps. He's with her all the time now. I think I've never seen her more focused. She's hardly been on social media, just little clips that we've seen. I think she's going to be zoned in. I think she's going to do the job. I see a unanimous decision, Sandy Ryan, and the new.
Love it. So we've got it 1-1. Pat's in your camp with the Sandy Ryan, but look, you and Pat are like clockwork these days. You're always picking the same results. That I don't know if you noticed it yourself, mate, or you've ran the accumulation. We've done 3 prediction shows tonight. Me and you've picked the opposite result in every single one of them. So that just shows you that hopefully we got a good weekend of fights coming up, because one of us is going to be right and one of us is going to be wrong.
I was going to say, we'll have a good week of boxing, but it shows that one of us knows absolutely all about fights.
We'll have to keep a running total of what's going on, but we'll be there for the watch along for this. Hopefully, Zapata against Farmer too, if there's no clash. Yeah. But obviously, we're gonna favour this one because we've got the Brit Sandy Ryan fighting on it. Yeah, No Punches Pull. We'll be back tomorrow with the fight previews. Any news we've got coming out in the world of boxing. DJ Pat going against me, going with his old pal JFT over there.
Yeah, brother, you know that we're never wrong.
The three of us will be
when we're wrong, we're right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow for the new format of No Punches Pulled, shorter version, previewing the fights, having the banter as always. Straight talk on Wednesday this week for Jay and Liam. Friday night watch-alongs for the Matchroom Next Gen show, Pat Brown, Von Flynn. And then obviously Saturday night, Mikaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan, the rematch. So plenty on this weekend. Thank you very much to JFT as always.
Pleasure.
DJ Pat in the comments, legend. And we'll see you many times later in the week. Have a good Monday evening, everybody.
See you later, guys.